What's up, my triple loving YouTube friends? Man, do I got a lot of stuff to show you guys. Trenton has been just killing it in the shop this weekend. I have been working at my job all weekend, and he has been just absolutely killing it out here. He has gotten so much stuff done. Got to talk about a couple things, and first thing I want to talk about, let me get a sip of the old brewski here. Yum, yum, yum. So when I rebuilt this engine for Project Part Sled, it's an Ultra, it's an SPX engine, got all the 03 cylinders and everything on it. I built this engine last weekend too, along with the XLT build. I didn't do a build video on it. I already have a build video out on the exact same engine, so I didn't do a build video on it. But one thing I wanted to talk about, this fourth oil line right here. Some people say important, some people say it's a waste of time. I could tell you this. This is the clamp that was holding the fourth oil line somewhere down, I think to the bottom of the carb here. Somewhere, this clamp goes down in here somewhere to hold the oil line so it doesn't get into your clutch. I just make sure it's zip tied good back in here to hold it out of the way. But this clamp, what I suspect is somebody blew a belt on this engine because this clamp was smashed shut that was holding the oil line wherever this thing goes. But this clamp, I think it goes like somewhere like this, something like that, to hold the oil line. The clamp was smashed shut with the oil line in there, and when I took the clamp off, the oil line was even smashed down shut. I already threw the oil line away. I thought of this after the fact that I should maybe bring this up so people can look for this on your current sled that you're riding right now. You should check this in case either you ever blew a belt or the previous owner blew a belt and it possibly smashed this clamp right here shut and pinched your oil line. Now no longer allows oil to go into this feed. And I'm going to tell you why I think this has something to do with the PTO bearing that was on this crankshaft that was bad. Every bearing on this entire crank was in great shape. I used the crankshaft out of the engine, out of this engine. I pulled the old bearing off. I pressed a new one on, the PTO bearing. But that bearing was bad, and I suspect that that oil line being was pinched shut and that bearing was not getting the amount of oil that it could have been getting. It's still getting some of the oil from inside from the injection, inside the engine, the mixed, but it's not getting the oil direct from the injector pump into that bearing. Just food for thought. I could be completely wrong here, but that oil line was smashed shut. There was no oil going to there, extra oil. So fourth oil line, good or bad? I think it's good. I think it definitely does not hurt anything to have extra oil out on that bearing. Like I said, that bearing was bad on that crankshaft. But that engine looks gorgeous. It's ready to, we've already had it sitting in the chassis. Last video, that engine was sitting in the chassis. But the biggest thing I got to show you is we got the hood back for Part Sled. And oh my God, my decal lady. Oh my God. She nailed it. She absolutely nailed it. Oh my goodness. Trenton put the purple windshield on here that we got from out at the Heyday swap. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Comment, give your opinion. Problem is, this is going to be my daily. This is going to be my rider every weekend. And I'm old. I get cold easy. My hands freeze all the time. Even though I wear my big rabbit frickin' choppers, my hands get cold. I did order a brand new flared windshield for it, Cobra windshield for it, but Trenton's like, yeah, you got to rock the purple windshield. So comment, see what you think. I think it looks it looks badass. But the decals and the other thing we're on the fence of, comment on this one too. What do you guys think? No bumper or bumper? We're both kind of thinking maybe no bumper because it kind of gives it more of a look of the SPX without the bumper. But I am going to do a bumper. I was pretty much convinced I was going to do a bumper, and I was going to drill it like I do most of my bumpers now. It's kind of my signature I like to do now is drill out my bumpers like this. I don't know. I think it's kind of a neat little pizzazz. It's a pain in the ass. It's time consuming. Look at the skid. Trenton built the skid for it yesterday. He's got it all installed. It's all in there. It's loose fit. Mohawk Motorsports came through with, or Mohawk Salvage, I'm sorry, Mohawk Salvage in Hibbing, Minnesota. Eric pulled a couple purple wheels for me. They look badass on there. It's purple, purple, purple. And that was, I think, is one of the last. I think this is the last purple parts now. Was the springs in the skid and the slide rails. Are we out of purple now, Trenton?
Yeah, minus the snow flap.
Oh, the purple snow flap that we got from Mark Trotter that has to go on there, but that's just going to stay off for right now. But that's it. That is all the purple that we had powder coated for the sled. It's on it now. But let's look at part sled here again. We got the gauge, we got the dash panel on here, or the dash plats on here from Shane Jackson. And my decal lady made up the sticker for the dash and stuff too. Oh my God, it looks just absolutely amazing on there. I love it. I cannot wait to get on the sled and ride it and just look at that out in the sun. Them dash plates look so freaking awesome. Trenton got the skid all done on part sled also. All new bearings, every single wheel. We get the skids out like this, we always replace all the bearings. Trenton put all the new bearings in there, got the piggyback shock in there, got all the powder coated springs and stuff in there. It looks just absolutely awesome. Can't wait to get the skid back in. We did finish the track. I was really talking in the last video how bad this sucked. And it did suck, but I think it was just because our technique sucked at first. But once we started to figure out exactly how to do it, it didn't totally suck then. But what I did figure out is, like, so I was using my oxyacetylene torch. You could probably just use a MAP gas torch too, but I just kind of set my torch up, had a brazing tip in there. And with two of us, we have an hour total into taking all these nuts off. I think it's 112 nuts if it's that pattern on a 136 track. I think it's right around 112. Don't quote me on that. I'm probably wrong. But we have a total of an hour taking all the nuts off. And what I figured out is once the nylock, the plastic, started to melt out of the nut, put the impact on, zoop, it zipped right off. Yeah, it went pretty quick. I just got to finish pulling the backers off, but all the nuts are off. I did order all new backers, all new nuts. I'm gonna salvage a lot of these studs. I'm gonna rerun them. There's still plenty of miles in them studs. Yeah, they're not brand new, and I'm gonna put some brand new ones in too. But there's lots of miles left in the studs. I have no problem reusing some of them studs at all. And I mean, like Breeze Track, it's all drilled. We just have to stud it, and it's just gonna get a 96 pattern. But that's all ready to go, and we actually just got the studs. That's why we put the skid and everything in, because the studs weren't here yet, and they actually just showed up. So Trenton's been working on the wiring. He's actually got they bumped the key once, Trenton. This is pretty freaking sweet.
Is the clutch off?
Yep, the clutch is out of the way. Yep, this is pretty sweet. It's got electric start. That's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to make it a lot easier for Bree to be able to start it herself. He's got the electric start hooked up. He's been working on changing up the wiring, different bars now and different switches. He actually relocated the switches that would have been up in the pod up here, up in the bars or whatever. He relocated them down here into the dash, so the switches are down here now. Yeah, it's looking great. A lot of work. Trenton's been out here all weekend by himself, just putzing. You know, it's just so much detail work that has to go in. It goes together fast. But then to go back and do all the wiring and running the gas lines and oil lines and, you know, all that stuff takes so much time. Water lines, this is a custom water line setup. We just got to get some brackets coming off of some things here, you know, some hose holders and stuff coming off the chain case maybe, and one off the fuel pump maybe to hold this system from bouncing down the trail and stuff. But it's looking great. It's getting there. I'm going to predict, Trenton, next weekend that we put fire in the hole on this one. What do you think? I think we're a week out. I think during the week, we don't get a ton done during the week. We both work jobs that require long hours, but I got some fab work to do. I got to fab up a heat shield down here. Trenton thinks the pipe's a little too close right in here, so I'm going to fab up some kind of aluminum heat shield there. I got to fab up a bracket right here to hold the pipes up off of this area, so I got to fab that bracket, and I got to fab brackets for the oil and coolant jug back there. So I'll get all that fabbed over the week. But I think by Sunday next weekend, I think we're doing a video of this thing actually running. I really do. I think it's time to get this one started, get fire in the hole. That one's a little bit behind. Now I got to figure out a wire harness for it. So I'm going to have to reach out to some of my parts guys for a wire harness. I thought I had one here. I got one for a aggressive chassis, and I'd have to do so much butchering to it to to switch it over to the Wedge pod and everything. And I don't really, if I just got a Wedge chassis wire harness, it would make things a lot easier. And right now at this point in the build, I'm looking for easier and not more tougher hurdles to get over. So, so I think I just got to source a wire harness for that one, and that'll make a lot of things easier. That's why Trenton pulled the engine back out, is to so we get the wire harness in here and stuff. But breeze hood and Project 2 bag will be done tomorrow. I'm picking it up tomorrow, I believe, or Tuesday. And she showed me some of her artwork overlaid onto the hood, blowing my mind away. It's, oh my God, it's going to look just killer with the 94 XLT graphic package on her sled. Here, let's look at, so here's her rendition of this rendition. I told her, I says, it doesn't have to be exact, because I'm not going for exact. I'm going for what could have been. And being that they never built one, here comes Trenton with the other hood. So 97, the aggressive SPX. The aggressive SPX, this is the decals that was on the aggressive SPX in 97. And I told her it does not have to be exactly the same. And some of it's the color that she has on hand to be able to do her vinyl. And this is what she came up with. And I think she frickin' knocked it completely out of the ballpark. And she's still making the ones for the tunnel. She'll have the checker flag on the tunnel yet that the SPX had. And same thing, she's making the tunnel decals for here and the hockey sticks for the trailing arms and stuff. But I think she nailed the hood. Like I told her, I says, that's my vision of what they should have built in 97. So like I said, it's not exact like the other hood. That's not what I was shooting for. I gave her a pretty wide open plate to work with there. So I think it looks incredible. I can't wait to get it out on the snow. Can't wait to get it on the trail. Like I said, this will be fired up next weekend. I think that one's, by Christmas time, that one's fired up. I'm picking up the pipes next Friday for that sled. So I think in 2 weeks, next week. So thanks for watching, everybody. That's my update on the sleds. This guy's doing all the work in the shop right now. I'm just ordering parts for him. So thanks a lot, everyone. See you in the next one.